Today we're going to be talking about caffeine. Caffeine is the most widely consumed psychoactive drug in the world and is found in coffee beans, tea leaves, cocoa beans, and cola nuts. It's also added to products such as energy drinks and pre-workouts, and it can be found in a powder form or a pill form. The benefits of caffeine use for athletes is that it can improve the performance at most events, and as the exercise duration increases, those magnitude of performance enhancing effects also increases. Another big thing is that it improves cognitive functioning when tired. It can increase alertness and decrease the ratings of exertion. And this is because caffeine affects the central nervous system as it is a stimulant. There are side effects to caffeine though, and those typically include gastrointestinal distress, headaches, tachycardia, which is a faster beating heart, restlessness, nervousness, anxiety, and irritability. It can also elevate the heart rate, the blood pressure, cause psychomotor agitations, and premature left ventricular contractions. When consumed in higher dosages, it has more extreme side effects, the possibility for them, and that would include peptic ulcers, seizures, coma, or death. So this is why it's really important to understand the dosage of caffeine that you're taking. So who can benefit from caffeine? As I said earlier, most athletes can, and this includes athletes that can compete in endurance exercise, maximal exercise between 1 to 5 minutes. So think 400, 800 mile runners. And it does also benefit ball sport and team sports. So this would be basketball, soccer, and rugby. And it has a really great effect on the motor skills and the cognitive performance. As NCAA athletes, it's important to understand the guidelines on caffeine and know that it is an NCAA banned substance and it falls under the category of stimulant on their list. So during your NCAA drug test, if you have a caffeine concentration in the urine that exceeds 15 micrograms per milliliter, it will be showing up in the drug test. So that's something to keep in mind. And in order to get to that 15 micrograms per milliliter, it would take about 1,500 milligrams of caffeine consumed or 6 to 8 cups of coffee 2 to 3 hours before an event. So my caffeine recommendations to you guys as basketball players would be, if you're looking to enhance your performance, consume 3 to 6 milligrams of caffeine per kilogram of body weight 60 minutes prior to exercise. It's important that it's not right before you get on the court because it is a diuretic, so you don't want to be running off going to the bathroom. And again, avoid consuming caffeine past those NCAA guidelines. And you don't want to be exceeding 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight either, because a lot of research has shown when it exceeds 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight, or even especially 9, that's when you really start to get negative side effects that will actually decrease your performance. Something that's really important to understand is that caffeine affects different people differently. So somebody that doesn't consume caffeine often is likely to feel its effects greater and longer and stronger than somebody that consumes caffeine daily. And for somebody that consumes caffeine daily, it's suggested to go through a period without it, preferably 1 to 4 days, in order to resensitize them so they can feel the physiological effects of caffeine greater. If they don't have the time of 1 to 4 days, 24 hours is still better than nothing. And lastly, if you are looking to use caffeine as an ergogenic aid for the first time, I would suggest doing that during a practice versus right before an important competition for the first time, just so you're kind of aware of how your body responds and you don't have like negative side effects right before a big competition. And here are the references.